Hi, my name's Ian Golden with DJ Tech Tools. The main thing I want to do is give you a deep insight into all the ways that you can use this controller that might not be readily apparent. There's a number of things which are sort of under the hood and are relatively easy to understand once you see them used. First of all, we're going to use the Effects Select button to select effects and change the characteristics of each effects unit. We've got control over effects units 1, 2, 3, and 4. For now, we're just going to use units number 1 and 2 because they're the most simple to route and to control. So let's change the effects. If you press the button under what is the wet dry, you get into your effects control. In this pane, you can choose whether or not you want a single effect, which allows you more control over one effect, or a group effects, where you get 3 in 1. I prefer 3 in 1 because more is always better, right? Actually, it's not. But in this case, let's use a group. Let's go ahead and press Effects Select to get out of that. Or if we actually want to change the effects, let's press Effects Select and then press the button underneath the effect that we want to change. So there's 3. We can select either one and then use the encoder to scroll through the list of available effects. Let's first start with Beat Masher. And then let's load a flanger. And then let's load a reverb. Sounds pretty good to me. So we've got a track running on our left side. I like that. Let's go ahead and speed this track up a little bit. I'm going to jump forward in the tutorial and use the Master Tempo knob to speed things up. Because techno at 115 isn't really techno anymore. So let's get an effect on this deck. We're going to go ahead and route it by pressing this little left icon. That says, hey, let's route this deck to this effect unit over here. If you want to route this deck to the third effect unit, just hold down Shift and route it there. You'll see that when I press Shift, this button is not lit, showing me that effects unit 3 is not routed. Okay, let's first turn on our flanger. So of course this turns it on, and this changes the characteristic of that. And the knob on your far left is your wet dry. Let's get a little reverb. And maybe finally a little beat measure. Cool. So that is how you assign effects to a deck. One of the main things I like, if we go ahead and get a track loaded up over here, let's set a loop, get him going. Remember, we'll use the Shift plus the loop to scroll through the track. There we go. I like that loop. Let's get some remix deck action going on underneath this guy. So first, let's get a little... Okay, so now we've got a little bit of a hi-hat here. And let's find a different loop. Now, one thing you would not have known, to actually get through different layers of remix decks, you use these buttons here. So right now I can control the upper 2 layers of the remix decks. I've got some kicks. Of course, these are going to adjust the volumes of those guys. Right now I've got the quantize set pretty high, so it's not going to be able to play very quickly. Let's try a little ride. Bring that guy down. Now, if I wanted to trigger some loops other than the top 2 layers, I use these buttons here. Let's see what this sounds like. That's pretty cool. Now, here's the cool trick that I like. With the remix decks, you can do this really nice effect send feature. So I'm going to go over to my effects, turn them on. Let's go ahead and route that deck, which is deck D, to effects unit 4 by pressing down Shift and this guy. So there we've got the delay. Cool. So let's go back to our send now. Now let's use the send to just kind of pop in little guys. We could also do this using the knob.